As in the past speed rounds, we will flash the stocks one by one, and we'll ask Juanis and April whether they like or dislike the stock by raising their paddles. Please note that these are their personal views for the short term. That may not necessarily be our analysts' views. Our analysts' reports that you see in our website are more long-term and fundamentally based in views and may not necessarily be what our experts will share today. This speed round is more short-term and is looking at the immediate drivers of each stock. This is really for those that are a bit more active in their investments, or what we call active traders or active investors. We will flash the stock code on the screen, and on my count, Juanis and April will raise their thumbs up or a thumbs down simultaneously, after which they will explain why. Juanis, of course, will focus on the technicals, basically the chart formations and how he views the direction. April, on the other hand, will focus mainly on the most recent drivers or issues in the particular stock. Now, let me try to explain this a little better. The way I look at this is that if they both agree on the direction, whether thumbs up or thumbs down, then if you follow it, you may have a better fighting chance for success. I just like to add that during our last speed round in March, just this year, they agreed on 9 stocks. As in, they either both like it or both dislike it. And looking at how those stocks performed, where they both agreed, the stock moved according to their views around 80% of the time. 80%. They might not be right all the time. There's a 20% miss, but you will have a higher fighting chance to succeed. So for those stocks where they have different views, on the other hand, there is no agreement. This is where it becomes tricky. When they disagreed, the stocks went different ways. There were no discernible pattern. So the way I look at that situation is, if Juanis likes it and April doesn't like it, there may be a quick trading opportunity, but you may need to manage your exposure very carefully, because there may be issues that April do not like about it. On the other hand, if Juanis does not like it, on the other hand, if he doesn't like the formation of the chart, and April likes it, then there are good reasons to buy, but may not be a good time to enter yet. Diba? So not yet the time. So watch for the corrections before entering. Juanis specifically mentioned all of these stocks that may be entering this correction. So let me say that again. If Juanis doesn't like it and April likes it, then there is good reason for you to buy, but may not be a good time to enter yet. So watch for the corrections before entering. So, are you ready? Let's take a look at the first stock. The first stock that people were asking for. ACEN. Looks like the recent follow-on offering at 6 peso 50 went well, despite how analysts value the stock. It went up by more than like 20% from the recent offer, from 650 to what went. So my question is, what are we missing? Is there any special situation about this stock? Clean energy, index play perhaps? So Juanis in April, do you like it or dislike it? Oh, Juanis likes it. April doesn't like it. Oh, wow. Okay, please explain. Juanis, see the chart here?
Well, the chart looks quite nice to me. It's managed to be able to break out of resistance, and after consolidating from the beginning of the year up to June, it still managed to be able to pick itself back up and managed to even generate a slightly higher high in recent days. So I think this is a worthy prospect technically, because you have a wind up that can now generate more upside action. I understand the April's point of view on the valuation side, but clearly the accumulation here managed to take it up to a new high. So that demand level is what I'm going on.
So April, oh wow. So the chart looks good, nah? So April, what's your take?
Yeah, I just want to add that I recognize that I think the main reason why this stock is strong is because we think that this stock will be included in the PSEI index in August. And definitely, I mean, I guess, no, yung aking negative is with with the with the caveat, I guess if you own the stock, you can continue holding on to it up to, say, middle of August, when the deadline of the PSEI inclusion will be. No, and of course, it's a play on renewable energy. So yun. Pero after that, I don't know. I don't see any other reason why you should be um, too optimistic about ACEN, because we feel that the stock is really very expensive, and there are so many other stocks that can be bought. And that said, well, the theme right now in the Philippines is potential power shortage, and unfortunately, ACEN will not benefit from any potential power shortage because its capacity is actually contracted in the Philippines, and the other renewable energy plants that it owns are actually overseas. So I don't think it will be uso in that respect. Baka tapos na. Tsaka yun na nga, it's already in the index. So wala na ring index play driver. So yun lang sa akin.
Sorry, April. Siguro I like this stock. That's why I want to follow up. And this is the number one choice of everybody. They want to understand. So maybe let's take a little bit more time in studying this. So it's expensive. It was expensive before at 650 and continues to be expensive at $8. So is the index play the only play for this, or aren't we seeing something more like, if you compare it to other renewable energy stocks in other countries that probably we're not seeing? Is there anything else that we can look at on this stock?
Well, it's an Ayala company. The branding of the Ayalas, but well, sa akin lang, I mean, it depends eh. Parang it's more like, di ba they mentioned like you have to believe in us, di ba? Eh parang sa akin lang, maniwala ako, eh marami pa dyan, nandiyan na yung numbers eh. Why should I overpay when there are so many others where I can already see the earnings and are trading at much lower valuations? I mean, it's not even a valuation that is parang okay, there are valuations that I can justify 50-50. It can be cheap, it can be expensive. I can justify it, and we'll talk about it later. I think there are good examples among the top 10 that are 50-50. Yeah, I can argue it's expensive, but I can also argue it's cheap. But this one is really expensive, no matter what angle you look at. I mean, even the foreign comparable renewable energies are cheaper. Hindi bale kung we compare it to foreign renewables, and the foreign renewables are trading at even much higher valuations, then okay, I can argue that it's cheap, but it's not even that. So it's really expensive. And yun na nga, what the earnings growth is high, but they will be issuing so many shares to the point that the EPS growth is just 3%. So that doesn't exactly excite. Yun lang naman for me.
Ganun talaga. Analyst na talaga. April's really an analyst. Yeah, okay. Good. Sige, thank you for your views. Let's go to the next stock. What do we have? Oh, Dito, of course. The third telco reported to have close to 1 million subscribers already, offering 5G, or the fastest, and targeted to get 30% of the market. After an all-time high of 19 per share, it has now stabilized at 950. So how do we see this stock? Like or dislike? April Juanis? Both dislike. Okay, Juanis, go ahead.
Well, I'll have to say dislike as long as that downtrend line is not broken, because as long as that reactive situation maintains itself, it could stay that way for a while. So until we get a breakout, I would stay neutral, if not stay off it for the meantime until I can see better chance to get in.
Chart doesn't look. April.
Yeah. I just want to say, it had, on the positive side, it has 1 million subscribers. Okay, so baka yan na, meron na. But a one-third market share would imply something like 30 million subscribers. That's still a long way to go, I'm just saying. And if you have 1 million subscribers, and assuming, which is already a very aggressive assumption, that those 1 million subscribers pay 200 pesos per month, which is very aggressive, because in the Philippines, subscribers don't pay 200 pesos per month on the average. Potential revenues would be how much, no? 200 million. I mean, given the capex that they're spending, and they borrowed money, etc., it's not even enough to pay the interest expense. It's not going to be easy to get subscribers because you have the incumbents who have quite a strong market share, strong distribution, and are also spending billions. Like Globe announced they're going to spend 70 billion, PLDT probably same level, Ditto 50 billion. So yun, they're gonna have a hard time competing with PLDT and Globe. And yun na nga, this company will remain in the red for several years. And aside from that, globally, there has only been one case where the third telco actually succeeded in grabbing significant market share from the incumbents. My feeling is Ditto has come in a little bit too late. And also, eto na lang, operationally, yun na nga, I checked kasi diba they have the Shopee where you can order the, I don't know how many GBs for 200 pesos, diba?
Yeah.
So I made CLEP. You have to have 5G phones. And if you're trying to target the market who will try them, I mean, you're alienating a lot of people. In fact, the iPhones cannot even be used to SIM if you have an iPhone. You have to have a 5G phone before you could so I mean, that's another deterrent, or that's another hurdle for them to grow the subscriber base. So yun lang naman. It will take them time to compete.
Yeah, okay. So at least you agreed on this stock. Thumbs down. Not good in the chart, and probably not also good in terms of its drivers. Okay, thank you for that. Next stock. MEG. MEG recently reported to launch the largest REIT, REIT, soon. Will MEG's value be enhanced? What do you think, guys? Is it going to be enhanced? Do you like it or dislike it? Different. Juanis doesn't like it because the chart doesn't look good, but April likes it. Okay, sige. Let us hear what they have to say. Juanis?
Well, similarly to Ditto, the downtrend line in MEG World continues, and as long as that's not broken, then my trend following assumptions would be that we'll still see some pressure into the short term for this. And maybe if it can break over 344, 350, then I'll re-look at MEG World again. So for now, I would expect some corrective actions, more winding, and hopefully it doesn't go back to its previous low and it makes a higher low, to which that could do something nice later. But right now, not yet.
Thanks. April?
Yeah, well, the reason why I like it is because it's a play on the reopening of the Philippine economy. So if we're more bullish on the Philippines, it will be a beneficiary because it was hurt quite badly because of the pandemic. And then, of course, the MREIT will be listing soon. It will be raising quite a bit of money from that. Valuations are attractive. It's trading at below book value. Believe it or not, the stock is trading below book value, a 50% discount to its book value. Although, you may be wondering, so what's the reason why the stock is so weak? I think first of all is the MSCI rebalancing. It was one of those stocks that were removed. And secondly, during the first quarter earnings season, you will notice that the property companies, all of them consistently came out with really bad earnings. I think that profits from high-rise residential projects and also mall leasing businesses will take time to return to pre-pandemic levels. But when I think about it, should we be bearish on the listed property companies because of that? I think it's kind of difficult to be bearish because these companies are really big right now. They also have their mga offices that are catering to the BPOs. And with respect to residential, yes, the high rise is weak, but they do have horizontal developments, and not only in Manila, but in other parts of the country. So, it's quite a big company. So they might be able to offset some of that weakness. And the price is just too cheap to say that it's not pricing in the negative outlook already. So yeah, so net I'm thinking, yeah, still should be bullish on this.
Thank you for that. So price is cheap, valuations depressed still because of maybe the pandemic. But April, let me ask you, if they come up with these REITs, diba? So they're coming up with the largest REIT, and what will you do? Would you buy MEG or buy the MEG REIT for the short?
Well, a lot of people have been asking that, but my issue kasi with the REITs right now is medyo mababa na yung yield. It's not as good as a REIT when it first listed. So I'm not as excited as I used to be about REITs. It's okay if you're looking for an alternative to fixed income, but yeah, I mean, if you combine, say, capital appreciation potential plus a little bit of dividends, because you know what, if you buy Mega World, for example, you'll get some dividend yields also. It's not as high, mga 2%, pero may capital appreciation potential ka. So maybe mabawi mo yung additional 2%. So yeah, it depends. If you're really for the fixed income, or you're a fixed income person, then sure, go and buy the REITs. But I mean, as an equity person, I think may laban Parang, yeah, it's pretty attractive.
So if the REIT gives a good yield, baka pwede. Di ba? Pwede.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Sige. Thanks. Next stock. Oh, the in-Jap stock. Merrimart. Merrimart, it's been quiet, moving quiet lately, But in-Jap reported that they're targeting 100 stores by the end of the year. And now they're already 34. Will this possibly be a recovery play? Juanis, April, do you like it or dislike? Oh, they don't like it both. Juanis, why don't you like it?
I'm not making a decision whether it's going to be a recovery play. It's possible that it is, but my sense is that right now the trend is still very much into the downside, and we've not seen a relatively good recovery. Imagine all the big rallies we've seen so far, and this has actually been coming down and down and down. So maybe it just needs a little bit more time to wind up before it can prepare for its next move. But again, my decision is based on me picking issues that look stronger, right? Because that's where the demand is going. And so far it's absent here. And so until I see that resound, I will just stay on the sidelines on this.
Yeah. Sidelines muna. April?
Well, yun nga, the positive driver is that, of course, it's growing now. But that said, expensive valuation. And again, okay, let's talk about expensive, because there are times when expensive is not like, okay, it's slightly expensive, but justifiably expensive. This one, okay, it has a market capitalization of 33 billion pesos, Okay, so just to put things into context, 33 billion is expensive for this company because it has a still a small number of stores. It's growing, but you know, not as much. In contrast, you have say Metro Gaisano, trading below 10 billion market cap, and Store Specialist with a lot more stores out there also trading below 10 billion market cap. So, you know, you can make the comparison and say that, well, I don't think, you know, a 33 billion peso market cap can be justified, even though this is a growing company, because I mean, wala pa talagang scale. It's still too small at this stage to justify the 33 billion market cap.
So medyo a bit expensive. So both of you don't like it yet. No, we'll see. Next stock, please. Ayala Land. Okay. Malls should recover soon, right? Because of this recovery. And will Ayala Land benefit from it? Are they benefiting also from the transfer of assets to a REIT? They've been transferring assets to a REIT. And what is your take? What are your takes? Juanis and April, like it or dislike it? Oh yeah, finally. we got one. Ayala Land, Juanis, how does it look?
Well, what I saw here at least was a rally in Ayala Land compared to what we saw in Mega World. This was much healthier in terms of its recovery. You notice your MACD went way above the zero line and it's now pulling back for a correction. But you know, although it hit a major downtrend line on the other side, it crossed over a number of moving averages in doing so. So by that standard alone, that's normal. And now we'll probably see it consolidate, but it's broken enough resistance areas to tell me that the rally was good enough and it's one of the stronger ones. And I would rather look at this one rather than Mega World for the interim. So I'm trying to be as bullish I can on some of these potential recovery plays, but this looks just better than Mega World as of the time being. So I'll include this on a plus side.
April, what do you think of this over the short term? You like it also, the drivers?
Yeah. Well, the drivers are the same as Mega World. It's a play on the reopening of the Philippine economy, and well, I was thinking about issues about the risks that of course it's high-rise development projects and the mall leasing business will take time really to recover. But that said, Ayala Land is a highly diversified real estate company, so maybe those businesses are gonna be hit, but then it has some strong businesses like the provincial business is still doing well, and then the horizontal, then the offices. So offset, plus of course, cheap funding costs, etc. So I think it's gonna be fine. And the valuations, well, this one, you notice I never talk about valuations because my feeling is it's this level of valuations can still be cheap and can be expensive, yung ganon. It can still go both ways eh. Like yung kanina, yung mga pinag-usapan natin na kung mahal, mahal talaga. But this one, I can argue that I can argue both ways that it's cheap, expensive, ganun. So pwede pa to.
Kahit may in some areas it can be expensive, some areas some valuation metrics it can be cheap. Diba? Yeah, good. So at least we have Ayala Land as both thumbs up. Thank you very much. Next stock, Metro Bank. They have reported one of the weakest loan growth. I think it's affecting all the banking industry, and non-performing loans are still rising. How will this situation affect their growth moving forward or even over the short term? You like it or you don't like it? You like it. Oh, you like it also. Good. Juanis, why do you like it?
Well, many of the banks are doing something of this type. They're going through consolidations. BDO right now managed to be able to push on, and Metro Bank was actually rallied a bit earlier than the rest. although it didn't hit the absolute high of its range, I think in good time, all these consolidation ranges of the banks will break out. And I feel quite strongly that Metrobank can be one of them.
Good.
It was quite strange though earlier today that I saw an unusual heavy amount of weakness into Metrobank, but I would stay in line with my proposal between the 20 and 50 days of potential buy zone, if not maybe the 100, if it can give me that opportunity to buy there. So this one, be a bit patient, try to buy this in the lower half of that range, and I think you'll be good to go with many of these banks, particularly this one.
So we're not going to be worried about that small break today, Juanis.
Well, the small break just simply tells you that it's going to move through the correction, but that's what you want. You don't want to be buying it at 50 for a target of 50 for the next resistance target there. So you want to be able to buy it at the lower half of that box. So that's fine. That's what corrections are for. Give you that opportunity.
Good. April, any drivers for the stock?
Well, it's also a play on the recovery of the Philippine economy, which is the bias right now, no? And yeah, as you said, although the loan demand is weak and BLs are still rising, but of course, if the outlook is improving, then you should focus more on the fact that at least the worst is over, right? And other reasons to like the stock, well, it has lower exposure to riskier consumer loans because that's where we're seeing the NPLs are. And although NPLs have not yet peaked, they have an NPL coverage ratio of already 166%, which was why, in addition to their highly capitalized balance sheet, they were able to pay out a special cash dividend, diba? Which was responsible for the spike earlier this year. And we think that there is a potential that they could pay out another special cash dividend next year. And in terms of valuations, Metrobank is trading below book value, whereas say BDO, BPI, which are also cheap, are trading above book value. So I don't think Metrobank deserves to trade at such a cheap valuation.
But April, I just follow up that they were able to give out dividends, very hefty dividend, no? Given that they are reducing their loan book, or I don't know, the NPLs increasing. Why is that?
Yeah, because the balance sheet nga is highly capitalized.
Okay.
There's a certain capital adequacy ratio that they have, and if the capital level is too high, the ROE is gonna go down. Di ba yun nga yung naaral natin sa school na, if a company has too much capital and if it wants to enhance shareholder value, it might as well pay out the cash dividends to its shareholders.
Okay.
So I think that's the rationale for the whole thing. In fact, the paying out of cash dividends might materialize also for the other banks. When we talk to them, they're also thinking about that idea, but they just want to know how bad things will be when it comes to NPLs. And if the NPLs aren't as bad as, actually they have a feeling na when you talk to the banks, they're saying, oh, the NPLs are not going to be as bad as we think they are going to be, which is why during the first quarter, they set aside less provisions already. And the earnings of a lot of banks are up. So they just want to see until the end of the year. If the NPLs do not materialize, then maybe next year they'll pay out bigger cash dividends.
Okay, thank you. We have a few more stocks, but time is running fast, really. So let's go through this a little bit faster. Next is DDMPR. You like it or dislike it? REITs. This is not. You like it, Juanis. Why do you like it, Juanis? And April doesn't like it.
Looks like the worst is over for now.
Wow.
And typically in a typical IPO, that's normally the kind of pattern I would anticipate. Now, after this basing effect, after this rally, it might need to go through an accumulation phase. So that's the only thing people may have to prepare for. But in terms of the other listed REIT, it looks like the other one seems to be stronger. So if you're going to push me to choose, I would stay with the stronger one. But for now, I think this will try to complete its rally first.
Yeah, the chart looks okay, but maybe look at the other REITs also. But you still like it, no? April, why don't you like it?
Well, maybe the reason why it's being bought right now is because the dividend yield is much higher than those of the other REITs. Even those that will do their IPOs, mas mataas itong DDMPR. I
Right
admit
now.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what my concerns about this is that I'm not too happy with the asset base. The other REITs would have several buildings. Well, some of them are in one location, but not as concentrated on DDMPR because the DDMPR buildings are all located in the DD Meridian Park, no? And their offices have no PESA accreditation, whereas all the other REITs have their offices with PESA accreditations, meaning that if they become vacant, they can easily lease this out to the BPOs where the demand is, no? And finally, the MPR has a large number of POGO and POGO-related tenants, making them more vulnerable to vacancies. So even though the yield is high, there is a bigger risk that they cannot pay those cash dividends if the
Mhm.
vacancy goes up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. Next up, please. Avoid this power. This avoid this. Do you think this power company will benefit from the recent brownouts? And of course, the opening of the economy. April Juanis, you like it or dislike? Oh, you both like it. Good. Juanis?
Well, it looks finally it's seemed to have picked itself up from that downtrend. So all it needs to do now is just do a nice wind up for it to continue to be able to move higher. So I think the worst is over for Aboitiz Power.
Good, good. April?
Well, uh, first of all, of course, is the tight power supply situation. I think we kind of got you know, may patikim na tayo. Well, the power demand actually is already higher than pre-pandemic level. That's what they're saying. So yeah, and I think the weaknesses that this company had, which is its large uncontracted capacity and the two new plants that will come online, which was a weakness because before we had the oversupply or a glut. Now, because we're gonna have a shortage, the fact that they have a large uncontracted capacity and new capacity that's coming online are actually good for them because that means that they can sell this power at a higher price. And the best part is that the stock is very cheap. Um, you know, okay, I won't talk about PEs na lang. Let's just talk about something like where this stock came from pre-pandemic. So pre-pandemic, Aboitiz Power was trading at 35, 40 pesos. Okay. And then the pandemic came, of course, they were hit because power demand fell and then lower prices, etc. So naging 20 plus. But if they're gonna have a power shortage again, it's not impossible for prices to return to 35, 40. And in case it takes a while, they're giving you a dividend yield of 3 to 4%, which isn't bad actually.
Mhm.
So yun lang naman for me. So I mean, it's really very exciting in that respect.
Good, good. You're excited about this stuff. Thank you, April. Next, Jollibee, JFC. Oh, price seems to have moved so quite strongly recently. And then there's also this sharp drop. Anticipating the reopening ba to? Is the market anticipating it too soon? April 1 is, do you like it? Are they going to open up the stores already? Oh, they both like it. Good, good, good. Juan is, why do you like it?
Well, I would agree with your statement. Looks like people are trying to anticipate the reopening play,
Yeah.
and it seems that the breaks that took place on resistance earlier on towards the latter portion of May was very lasting. It generated that, although it's correcting right now, that's fine because it was just a bit too the price surge was just a bit too elevated. So pulling back closer to 197, uh, maybe if we're lucky 188, might be a beautiful area to be able to buy this stock back.
Good, good. April, this stock has a high PE. So
Yeah.
what are the drivers?
Yeah, I just want to say, this is one of those stocks na, it's expensive when you look at it from a PE perspective, but on the longer term, it's something that I can justify. Because what has changed? I think this is actually a possible re-rating candidate. Why? Because first of all, foreign operations are already back to pre-pandemic levels. Okay, so because for example, they have their foreign operations are in the U.S., Vietnam, China, no, which are relatively coping well with the pandemic. So those operations are fine, no, and so Philippines, okay, that's weak, but what they did was last year they did a huge restructuring effort where they closed unprofitable stores, um, cut down cost, cut a lot of fat to the point that even though the sales are not back to where they were, they're already at least breaking even. No, then finally, I think why a re-rating? Well, for Smash Burger and CBTL, which are the two new acquisitions which were dragging profits before, are actually turning around. No,
Okay.
so can you imagine before, without Smash Burger and CBTL, the stock was trading at 300 pesos. So what more if the domestic operations return to pre-pandemic level in terms of profits, because of course maybe the network will not be the same. But the profits of the old operations return to pre-pandemic levels, then you add your Smash Burger that's profitable, then the CBTL that's profitable. I mean, it's not impossible to imagine that this can go back to 300, and then the insiders are actually buying this stock aggressively.
Oh. Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So
mm.
on the risk side, of course, it's really the Philippine operations that's lagging behind. And they talk naman about the risk of the resurgence of infections. So there is some impact on that end, and of course rising commodity prices.
Yeah, so it's a high P but justified because of all this old reopening and turning around of all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Good.
Hey,
Thank you
Marvin,
very much. Huh?
Marvin, I just want
Yep.
to give you a new stat.
Oh.
It's been ages since I've heard April give a thumbs up to Jollibee. So maybe we should listen.
Kaya nga, she said, it's a high P but justified. Oh, okay naman.
Yeah.
Justified expensive. Right? That's what I like. Good. So Jollibee. Next, please. We have our 10th stock, but I think we will have additional 2 more because of the tie. Okay, Monde. Well, it doesn't have too long a chart, but the largest IPO, it seems like it's becoming a successful one. April 1, you like it or not like it? Oh, they both like it too. Good. Juanis, the chart is not too long, but do you like the chart?
Chart's not too long, but it looks like in a typical type of IPO, it just needs a little bit more accumulation phase. It started it quite early, so I would take that demand seems to be relatively good for this. So take advantage of this correction and go ahead and pick it up.
Okay. April?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I like it because it's the market leader in instant noodles and savory biscuits. But I guess in the pandemic situation, you like it for the instant noodles because it's pandemic proof because of that. And then what makes it exciting really is the exposure to the fast growing alternative meat market through corn, which is the number one in the UK. So just to put things into perspective, the likes of say Impossible Meat and Beyond Meat were able to grow their sales north of 30% the past few years. No,
Mm-hmm.
so corn wasn't able to do that. That's why I'm saying the risk is the execution
Yeah.
because they had capacity issues in the
Yeah.
past, which is why they did the IPO,
Hmm.
so they can address that. But they're number one. Tried their product; it's really good. It tastes like the
Chicken.
McDonald's chicken nuggets. So, so yeah, and they also have tie-ups with say KFC and other quick service
Pero wala pa dito
restaurants.
no? Wala pa dito, no?
Yeah, parang hindi raw ready yung mga Filipinos eh.
Ako
Hindi
ready
pa,
na ako.
we're not flexitarians. Yun sabi nila. They're going after the flexitarians pa healthy ganyan. So
Yeah.
they're saying that this market, the alternative meats market, it's only 1% of the total meat market.
Oh,
So, a lot of room to grow in that respect. And finally, attractive valuations, which is the most exciting part of them all, because the market cap of Monde is, 250, 60 billion pesos. So you have, say, Beyond Meat, which
yeah,
is has a market cap of 400 plus billion US dollars, and it's losing money.
yeah,
Corn
yeah.
is profitable now,
Oh,
and of course it also has the noodle business. And aside from that, we had the new IPO recently, yung Oatly.
oh
That's
yeah,
an alternative meat,
yeah.
milk.
The US, yeah.
Yeah, that's a 16 billion US dollar market cap, also losing money.
Oh,
Yeah,
and this one's making
so
money.
yeah, so those companies are losing money just because they're alternative meat, alternative milk. They're trading at those huge valuations. So yeah, so in that respect, I really like Monde, and it's a good long-term buy, and it also has some cash dividends, not as high, probably at the 2% level. So pwede na, parang
Anong valuation mo dito? Fair value.
um wala pa eh, but the higher end of the IPO range is 17 and a half, no?
Okay.
So I think that would be a good initial target,
Uh-huh.
1750.
Juanis, is that like consistent with your chart? Will that be a good target price? With a very short chart. Ano?
That's still doable, yes, especially the base that it had. But it needs a little bit more reaction or wind up. Just a
Good,
short
good.
amount of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sige, sige.
April, would something like this be a candidate for an index?
Oh
Assuming
yeah,
the tenure
and
is long enough?
definitely. I mean, I forgot to add that because this stock's market cap makes it the 22nd largest company listed in the PSE. So obviously, with that, it will be definitely included in the index, the PSEI, and probably also in the MSCI because of the huge size. And the market and the free float is 20%.
Would you know what
So
the ruling is in terms of how long they have to remain or have been listed before being included?
at
9
least
months.
9
9
9
months.
months. Okay.
Yeah,
Kailan ba ito nag-list? Last month lang,
June
no?
1.
So, somewhere in March. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
April. March, April.
but the rebalancing is ano pa,
Feb.
is
Feb.
Feb. Baka hindi pa siya pwede sa Feb.
Maboto. Oh. But
The
this
next August,
yeah, I like this also. This company is turning out to be a blue chip, di ba? I mean, di ba? All of its top market share.
Yeah.
And experience. Good. Thank you. Next, please. What's this? Apollo Global Capital. What's this? What's the real story about this company? This stock has quieted down for a few months, no? And but the demand for iron ore may give it life. What do you think, guys? You like this or you don't like this? They don't like it both. So Juanis, why don't you like it?
Well, it's still locked into a consolidation. Although it seems to be narrowing off already, and that's a good sign because that means maybe the pattern might be breaking soon, but it's not giving me much to go on, whether it's up or down. And unless I can feel that bias, I would rather remain neutral until I see an evidence of a breakout. And if this does break over 20 cents, it might have a good mileage to go anyway. So I might as well just wait for that situation. I won't guess while inside that pattern.
Okay. Any stories on this one, April?
Well, the good news is it's already, I think, no, based on the disclosures, it has all the permits and the boats are there. So it's operating already. And of course, iron ore prices continue to increase, which is positive. The problem is, execution risk. We don't know how much it will actually be generating in profit. So maybe that's what people are waiting for, the actual profits to come in and, for people to do the numbers, like how much can this company be worth? So let's see. According to them, they're going to start shipping na raw the iron ore.
But do you consider this like still a speculative play?
Well, if the profits come in, then I guess no more. But so far wala pa eh. But the good news is the permits are in place and they can actually start operating. So let's see. They also have a follow-on offering, I think, but I don't know. The
Yeah.
market capitalization of this company is 50 billion. I mean, I don't think they're trying to raise 1 billion pesos. Parang maliit, no, for a 50 billion peso company. So let's see.
Yeah. Sige. Let's see what is stock. Okay, I think we have the last stock for this batch. Metro Pacific. Toll road volume has not been fully recovered, I guess, yet. But will they benefit also from the reopening? April, Juanis, you like it or you don't like it? Oh, they both like it. Juanis, why?
Well, the downtrend line is broken. It's shifting into correction mode now, so you should be looking for opportunity to buy this at a slightly lower price. I see a rectangular pattern in there, so all it really has to do is break that top, and this will effectively generate a turnaround condition. So this could be the last leg before a potential breakout. So might as well make the most of it.
April, what could break this out?
Yeah, well, for example, the reason why this stock was sold down sharply pre-pandemic was because of Maynila, diba? The threat that it would be taken away or nationalized. But now, diba, they have come to an agreement. So of course, it's not yet fully played out, but at least there's some sort of agreement already in place. And well, the toll roads were actually allowed to implement some rate hikes. I mean, it wasn't what they wanted, but at least finally they were allowed to implement some rate hikes, no? And aside from that, they will benefit from the reopening of the Philippine economy through the toll roads business. And the valuations are attractive because the stock is actually just valuing its shares in Meralco. The toll road business in Manila, they're already for free. And then the company also has a share buyback program. The major risk is that Meralco may undergo a regulatory reset, which means the tariffs of Meralco could go down next year. So yun lang naman ang risk. But other than that, I mean, looks like the worst is over because I think the main reason why people sold down this stock is because of Maynilad, no?
Okay. There you have it. We have 12 stocks already.